This video is all about the top 5 employers with the highest paying jobs here in the city of Temecula, California. Let's go ahead and get into it. Hey guys, my name is Justin Short. I am a realtor and team leader for the Short Real Estate team here in Temecula, California and Murrieta, California. And this video is all about the top 5 employers here in the city of Temecula. And then at the end, I'm going to give you guys a little more information on what some of the other top careers are here in the area if you are thinking about making a move here to Temecula or the surrounding cities. But do me a favor, if you like videos like this or you want to see more of them, please do me a favor, please hit like, please hit subscribe. So obviously it helps me, it helps the channel. Obviously I'm trying to continue to grow it, but we keep videos coming out each and every week all about this areas of Temecula, Murrieta, and Menifee, California. We talk about best neighborhoods, worst neighborhoods, school districts, where you want to live, where you don't want to live, taxes, all types of different stuff. So if you want to know more information, I think it's a great resource. And then we have a ton of videos that we've posted over the last couple of years too that you guys are more than welcome to check out. I think there's a lot of good information in there as well. But let's go ahead and we'll get into the info here. So what I'm doing, so we're going to run down the top 5 employers here in Temecula. The info that I'm going to go over with you is from Zippia.com. So this is their published data, and then I'm going to give you some information about other large sectors and industries here in the area as well. So if you've watched some of my other videos, I've talked about this a lot, and some people kind of give me a hard time about it because I kind of constantly say that there's not a ton of large employers here in the area. So I would say most people that live here in the Temecula, Murrieta, Menifee Valley, most people live here and commute out. So very much a bedroom community. People live here, they drive to San Diego, they drive to LA, they drive to Orange County, and they make that commute, 5 days a week, 3 days a week, or or what have you. There are some employers which we're going to go over. They employ more people than I thought that they did, but most people that you meet on a daily basis, they do commute out for work, or especially the last couple of years, post-COVID, so many more people now are working from home, and that makes this area a lot more desirable, right? So I would say that for most people, if you live here and you have to commute, that's probably the worst part about living here. The area, it is great, it's relatively affordable for Southern California. The weather is really good, although it can be a little bit hot, but usually the biggest pain point is that commute for people. So if you can find a large employer here locally that you can work for, obviously that's great. So that's why we're going to go over that. Or if you can work remotely, that's going to be great. Or anything you can do to shorten your commute or drive less often is going to be good for you. So, which I think that's one of the reasons that this area has really grown so much, post COVID, with so many more people working remotely. So, but we're going to run down the list. So the 5th largest employer here in Temecula is the Temecula Valley Hospital. So they have a ton of employees, they have a ton of doctors and admin staff, all that type of stuff, but they're the 5th highest and 5th largest employer. And so the 4th largest employer is PPED. So that is a manufacturing company that's based here in Temecula. And I gotta be honest, as someone that I've lived here in the Valley for a long time, over 20 years, but just about 25 years now, I actually never heard of this company. I didn't know that they had a business here locally, and they're the 4th largest employer. So sometimes that happens. You kind of start looking at some of the stats and you're kind of surprised by what's out there. So, but they have 785 employees, so it's kind of cool. The 3rd largest employee is actually the Temecula School District. So the Temecula Valley Unified School District, so that's going to include all the teachers that they employ, all the admin staff, so people that actually work directly at at the district building, people that actually work directly at the schools, so that would be principals and vice principals and counselors and they're medical people, all that type of stuff. So they are actually the 3rd largest employee here in Temecula. The 2nd largest employer is the Professional Hospital Supply Inc. So they actually have a pretty large presence here. So I am familiar with this company. They've had a big, huge building for a long time. They have a big building for a long time. I think they actually moved now, but they're over off Winchester Road. But big, huge, supply warehouse building. But they're actually Temecula's 2nd largest employer. I did not know that. I think that's kind of cool. They're a very big company, and they do all the hospital and medical supply for a lot of the surrounding businesses. So it's kind of cool. All right, so number one, so the largest employer in the city of Temecula is the Pechanga Resort and Casino. So they actually they employ the most amount of people inside the city. So obviously they have the casino, that's massive. They have all the different restaurants that are in there. They have the hotel that's in there, all the different venues and everything that they have. And they are actually the largest employer in Temecula. So some of the stats kind of, when I was going over it, I was a little surprised at, right? It's just, you wouldn't expect things to rank necessarily like that. But Pechanga, if I had to guess, I would definitely, in my mind, as a resident here, I would think they would be the largest employer. So no real surprise there. Okay, so the other thing that I wanted to mention, you guys, is just talk about some of the other large career fields here in Temecula. So although that list that we just went over, so those are like the top 5 individual businesses that employ the most amount of people, right? So that's going to give us one type of list. That's the list we just went over. But there are some other career fields here locally that are super large, that as a resident, someone that lives here, the people that I meet mostly do these other careers. So they may not all be employed by just one particular business, so which is why they're not necessarily going to be on that other list, right? But there are many people that work in these career fields, and maybe for different employers, different owners of companies, etc. So if you're thinking about making a move here, these are some very popular career fields that I meet a ton of people here locally. That's what a lot of people do for a living. So we'll go over this list. I think this is actually a little bit more of a handy list for someone that's going to be moving here. So from my perspective, so number 5 would be the military. So that is actually always a little bit surprising when people make a move here. They don't realize what a big military presence that we have here. But so we're here in Temecula. We're very close to the border, San Diego County. There's a ton of military here. So there's several bases close by. So there's a lot of people that are in the military that live here and they commute out. So they go to maybe Camp Pendleton is a huge military base, March Air Force Base that's in Moreno Valley. There's Miramar, there's Point Loma, there's Coronado. So there's a ton of military bases close by, so that people will make a commute out to, and from all types of different branches. So from Marines, Navy, Air Force, Army, Coast Guard, all the above. So I would say that that's probably the 5th largest, individual, career field that's out here in the area. The fourth largest is just going to be, fire department. So whether that is working for CAL FIRE, which is, at the county level. So when you work for Riverside County Fire Department, that's going to be through CAL FIRE, or firefighters that work for an individual city. So like Murrieta has their own fire department, Murrieta Fire Department. They have, there's a Temecula Fire Department, there is the Menifee Fire Department. Each city has their own fire department as well, Hemet Fire Department, etc. So either of those combined, those are going to be a ton of people. You're going to meet a ton of firefighters here locally. The 3rd largest, I would say, is going to be any type of police or sheriff. So whether that's a city police, so someone that works for Murrieta PD or Menifee PD, or someone that works for the county sheriff. So the Riverside County sheriffs have a very big presence. There's a ton of people that live in Temecula, Murrieta, or Menifee that work for the sheriffs. It just depends if you might be employed by the county. If you're employed by the county, you're sheriff, or you might be employed by an individual city and you're a police officer. But definitely a ton of those around. And the 2nd largest employer would be the school district. So Temecula Valley Unified School District did pop up on our other list, yes, but there's a ton of other teachers and admin that live here locally that maybe don't only work for Temecula Valley School District. So they might work for Murrieta Valley School District, they might work for Paris Valley School District, they might work for Lake Elsinore Valley School District, or they might work for some of the private schools. So there's a handful of private schools here in the area. Usually there's a Catholic school, a couple of Christian schools. Usually most of them have some type of religion tie-in, but there's a handful of different private schools that people work for as well. So I would say that's probably number 2. And number one would be medical. So besides just the Temecula Valley Hospital, there's a ton of hospitals here close by. So you have Temecula Valley, you have Inland Valley Hospital, you have Loma Linda, you have a couple others that I can't think of right off the top of my head, but there's several other hospitals here in the area, plus all the medical buildings, so doctor's offices, surgery centers, all that type of stuff, lab testing places, all that stuff. So I would say that is probably the most popular field here locally, is somewhere in the medical field. So that could be doctors, nurses, techs, emergency services, any of those types of things. And that would be, from my experience, maybe those aren't not the largest actual employers, but I would say the greatest amount of people that live here actually participate in those career fields. So hopefully that's good information for you guys. Hopefully it helps. Hopefully I didn't ramble too much. If you guys are liking the videos, do me a favor, hit like, hit subscribe. If we can answer any real estate questions for you or help you out with your search, we would love to hear from you. So feel free to call, text, or email, and hopefully I will talk to you soon. Thanks.